Hey, so I am trying something new. I was just going to record a quick video about symptoms that I experienced before I was diagnosed with my brain tumor. Because I know that's what a lot of people ask, or what a lot of people are interested in is, are these symptoms I'm having, since I can't figure them out, are they a brain tumor? Do I have a brain tumor too? I apologize. I'm outside because I knew if I was outside, my dog would not whine when I was talking on the camera. The only thing is my yard is not fenced in, and I'm worried he might run off. Charlie. Oh, wait, he's right below me. Okay. Anyways, some of the symptoms I had, I think the first things, they're cutting down tree branches. Okay. Well, we'll try real quick. Hopefully you can hear me just fine. The first couple of symptoms I had, or the first episode I had, was I was at work. And if I haven't said it before, I work as a nurse. So I work long shifts. And at that time I was working labor and delivery. So, on my feet, majority of the time, high stress situations. It was the end of the shift. I was charting. I'd had sinus issues for a week or so. I thought maybe I had a sinus infection or something. And I was charting on this computer that the print on the computer wasn't lining up. We had crappy computers, and I was just having to make it work. And I was like, I'll just power through this. And I was like, I don't feel right. I just feel off. And of course, I'm like, oh, I feel off. Let me just stand up and see if that makes it better. And I stood up and I immediately walked into a wall. And then I felt like I was just going to vomit everywhere. And it was like the world had turned on its side and I was still upright. It was horrible. I didn't know what it was. I'd never experienced anything like that before. But again, I was convinced it was, because I had a sinus infection, it had to have been, something inner ear that's messing with me. And so I got to the end of my shift and I had a coworker take me to urgent care, which is across the street from the hospital. I know it sounds weird, but even nurses have crappy insurance here in the USA, so that's what it is. So I went to urgent care so I wouldn't have to pay for an ER visit, and it was very nice for my coworker to drive me there. I went in there and they looked at my ear. They're like, you're fine. There's no infection, nothing like that. And they gave me, I want to say it was meclizine or something, maybe similar. I can't remember if that was exactly what it was, but it was one of those anti-vertigo medicines. And it said that it was just benign vertigo, proximal vertigo. So I took that and I went home, and that medicine knocked me out for 2 days. Completely knocked me out. It was horrible. I was like, I'm not ever taking this again. I hope this is not a daily medicine. And then I end up going to my nurse practitioner later on in that week that I saw on the regular, my general nurse practitioner. And she knew I had been having it was concern, just feeling off. And so she's like, well, let me just give you this dose of steroids and see how it goes. And so I had a dose of steroids, and it brought I felt better afterwards. I no longer felt like my ear was clogged, and I was good. So, during this time too, I was, I'm trying to remember if it was, I think it was before my divorce. Yeah, I was going through, either getting ready to go through a divorce or going through a divorce. So I kind of just pushed that weird episode aside and just kind of trudged on. And it didn't happen again. I think maybe it had been a year or so before it happened again. And then when it happened again, I was like, I know what this is. I know what this is. This is, I immediately went to urgent care. I was just like, I just need steroids. And I got steroids. My nurse practitioner ordered an MRI for me. I got an MRI actually, and looking over my chart, she ordered like all this stuff, like a whole auto, sorry, a whole autoimmune panel to make sure that it wasn't some autoimmune disease, because like I was also having like joint pain and just I'm trying to remember what other symptoms. Joint pain, tiredness, feeling off, just not feeling grounded. I didn't really have headaches. I know a lot of people are like, oh, a headache must be a brain tumor. I had no headaches. I'm not very prone to headaches, which is kind of weird. A lot of sinus issues, just felt like I was always having clogged sinuses. And then my hearing would come and go, or I had tinnitus. But I've had tinnitus since I was a teenager. So tinnitus wasn't as alarming to me, but I know that's a symptom that some people can have. Hold on. I'm going to stop here for a minute and make sure I'm recording this properly and it doesn't look stupid. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I'm glad I stopped because I didn't realize I was in shadow so much. Anyways, symptoms. So vertigo was one of the first symptoms I had. Other symptoms I had was like my joints would ache. I would have like I'm trying to remember what arm it was. My like grip went away. Like I couldn't grab mugs or, hold on, dog check. Oh, there he is over by the fence. Can you see him? There he is by the fence. My grip would go out. Like I couldn't hold a mug, or just hold anything. And at the time I was like, this is really scary because, the work I do, and I was a single mom, a newly single mom. The work I do depends on my body being physically healthy. So it was a very, very scary time for me. Actually, it was one of the reasons I chose to leave labor and delivery and go into neonatal ICU care. Because the physical toll that it was taking on my body was just a lot. And I just felt it all the time. I would have flares of just hives. They're all things too that like generally I think middle-aged women kind of just like go through just with the changes with aging and stuff, and just living in like this toxic world that we live in. Like, I mean, I did all the things. Like, I did the anti-inflammatory diet, I did the keto diet, I did the no gluten-free diet. I tried all those things, and like they would make me feel better for a little bit, just because I think it was more so because I was actively trying to do something to make myself feel better, but none of it really worked. I mean, even at one point, when I had first gotten divorced, this is very, very personal, and I had got breast implants. It's one of those things you kind of do to pick yourself up off the ground, especially if you're someone who's lived their whole life with no chest itch. So anyways, I had gotten breast implants before all this, and I ended up going, well, are the implants causing this? So that crossed my mind, like, is this a possibility? Like, maybe this is what's making me feel like that. The nebulousness of all the symptoms, I think, was the most troublesome thing of everything. So I did. I ended up getting the breast implants removed by a surgeon who specialized in removing everything that could cause like autoimmune issues or vertigo or whatever. Like, I'm sure if you look up now on symptoms of breast implants disease, you'll get all that list of everything I just listed. And I mean, that's what I did. I looked up that disease and it listed everything. And I'm glad I got them removed. I did feel better afterwards. A lot of my inflammation came down and it kind of like brought me back around a little bit. Like I was fine for a while. And then I would have an episode again. And whether it was changes in the weather that would trigger it, whether it was like allergies or whatever, something would trigger it, and I would be right back to just, I need to go get steroids. I need to do something. Something's not right. You know, all my autoimmune stuff came back negative. My MRI was fine. The only thing they found was like a pineal cyst that we had questions about that had shown up in an X-ray or CT scan like years ago, but it turned out to be stable and small and probably had been there since I was a child. So we didn't think that was the cause, but nobody saw anything on my MRI. No, nothing at all. And I was just getting very frustrated. I had some cysts had shown up on my thyroid, so we thought maybe Hashimoto's. Like all my thyroid screens came back fine though, and then we got the cysts drained and they were fine. It was just like a weird inflammation thing, and they went away and never came back after they were drained. I think I mentioned too that they thought maybe it was psoriatic arthritis. The only thing they really had to go on was I had some pitting, like a pit spots on a couple of my nails. But that was really it. There was nothing else that showed up that was in my blood work or any of the tests that they did that showed I had autoimmune disease. I mean, I'm not saying I don't have any of those. I'm not saying I don't have psoriatic, but like, I don't know. I was just getting frustrated. I'd had all the tests done. I'd made all the changes to my diet. I'd tried pretty much everything. And, I got to the point when I finally had my last little episode and was like, oh, I need steroids. I was like, God, it's got to be something in here. In here. It's got to be something in here. Because that seems to be the trigger of it. And so I was like, I know what it was. My stepdad had a polyp. He had always had sinus issues. And so, like, apparently he'd done all this, like, he would always do sinus irrigation, things like that. And he went to do something, I don't know, some kind of medical procedure or something. And it turns out that he had just a polyp inside his nose. And so they removed the polyp and he was fine. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I have a sinus polyp. Maybe that's my issue. And I could just go to the ENT and they'll just remove the polyp and I'll be better. Everything will be fine. So I went to ENT, and this was a doctor that I trusted very much. He took care of my kids, like all their adenoid. My daughter had to have her tonsils out when she was really young because she had sleep apnea really bad pretty much from toddler on. And like I really trusted him. And so I went to see him, and he was nice and good, and he did all these tests, and I will make a video going over what the tests were that they did at the ENT. I know ENT is not where you think you would end up going for a brain tumor. Anyways, I went to ENT. It never occurred to me I had a brain tumor. I remember joking, oh, it must be a tumor. Like, especially when I found out I had the pineal cyst, I was like, oh, it's got to be that. That's got to be it. It's the pineal cyst. But then I'm like, when it comes down to it, I really like my science. Hold on, my mom's calling me. I gotta let you go. I'll finish this conversation in a minute. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. I'm inside. I'm gonna try for a little while, but if Charlie starts whining, I might have to go or have to stop again. So excuse to the camera angle and me constantly trying to figure this out. Again, I'm just starting doing YouTube stuff. And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm actually using my 14-year-old's tripod that she got years ago because her grandparents thought that she was going to be into social media and posting on social media and doing all that stuff, but she's not allowed on social media, so she doesn't really use it, but she likes film stuff, so it's here, and I'm using it, but it's not very good. It's got like a light and stuff too. I don't even know how to turn it on, so it's not on. So again, just light from the window. Trying things out. Sorry I was interrupted by my mom's phone call. I will hopefully probably edit all this stuff out. But my goal is to get this video up today. So symptoms I was talking about that I experienced before being diagnosed with my acoustic neuroma, and that we had a hard time pinpointing where the symptoms were coming from. So first I said, like, I felt like my ear was full, like I felt like I had a sinus infection of some sort for a while, and then it would ring. I'd have ringing or tinnitus that would kind of be worse than what it normally was because I normally have it. And then I'd have episodes of like vertigo or balance, like where I'd be totally off. But the majority of the time I'd feel okay, like kind of normal, just like my hearing sometimes would go in and out. I don't need to recap all of it because clearly you can watch the video. But those were the main big ones. Balance, vertigo. Oh, the one thing I forgot was my vision. I have never worn glasses. Like, I have gone my life with having like near perfect, if not better than perfect vision. And then my eyes just started going bad. And it wasn't like they went bad. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I would often just want to put pressure here. I would want to be like, hold on, I can't see. Let me just do this. And it would like bring my vision together so that I could actually like see. It was like my eyes were just, they couldn't coordinate or something. And I know I have a stigmatism in both eyes. I never know how to say that, so sorry. So I kept going to eye doctors and being like, hey, what's wrong? Why are my eyes like this? And the first they're like, oh, you're in your 40s. That's what happens. You're losing your vision. Great. Wear reading glasses, they would tell me. You don't need a prescription. They would tell me over and over again, you don't need a prescription. And I think my eyes just progressively seem to get worse. And like, again, I use them at work. I put IVs in very tiny babies. I need my vision. Like, I need my skills. I need my strength. I need all these things that are like my body it's going out. So first I was like, okay. And I actually got like a prescription pair of readers, and I'd wear them when I needed to read stuff. And it kind of helped. It like helped my eyes relax a little bit. But I felt like I relied on them too much and it was making my eyes weaker. So, but I kept, every year I go back and get my eyes looked at again, and it's same thing. They hurt, they bother me, and they'd say, oh, it's eye dryness. Oh, you're just getting older. Oh, this is what happens. I ended up getting progressive glasses just because having to look at tiny things and having to look at computer screens and everything around at work was just a lot. But it was like a quick progression of my vision getting worse. Again, these are things that like a middle-aged woman may experience normally. So I can't say that it was 100% the tumor, but I will explain how all these things, how the tumor causes all these symptoms. I don't know if I should explain it in this video or the next video. I don't know how long this video is yet. Maybe I'll explain it in the next video. Well, I'll just explain real quickly the vision thing because I didn't get it. And I was like, how? Well, the acoustic neuroma is on your balance nerve. It's the nerve that coordinates your hearing and your balance and your proprioception. Sorry, I really have a hard time like enunciating words properly. And when it is working so hard to coordinate your balance and hearing, when it is working so incredibly hard and it's not getting you anywhere, your vision has to step in to take up that space. And my vision was working like double time, trying to keep my balance and trying to keep my body safe. And so that's why my eyes were so incredibly tired because of that. So it made sense that my eyes would get bad quick. It made sense once I found out what was wrong with me. So back to kind of like the timeline. Once I did go to the ENT and we ran all these tests, the ENT diagnosed me initially with Meniere's disease, And I don't know if you know anything about Meniere's disease. I didn't. I had never heard of it, but it sounds awful. It just sounds awful, awful, awful. And I cried. It was horrible. I said, with Meniere's disease, you'll lose balance on one side, and then eventually you lose balance on the other side. So, me catastrophizing things was like, I'm not going to be able to walk. I'm not going to be able to move. I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm not going to have any balance. How am I going to live? How am I going to take care of my children? How am I going to pay my bills? Like, all the stuff. And so, like, I went into, like, health guru overload, even more so than I had been before. You know, he said, low salt diet. Like, the other weird symptom I had, my blood pressure had gone up during all this. Again, another symptom a middle-aged woman could have. But my blood pressure went up too. And sorry, I'm just remembering like random symptoms that I had right as I'm telling this story. So, Meniere's disease. So I got put on a low-salt diet. Oh my gosh, I just remembered all this other stuff. I'm so sorry. Yeah, my blood pressure. That was a whole other symptom that went haywire too, because like I had an episode where my blood pressure just went so high I went to the hospital a couple times for that too. Oh my gosh, I sound like a hypochondriac. See, this is what happens. You get these symptoms and you feel like you're a hypochondriac. You feel like you're just making it up and nobody believes you. I mean, because everything is wrong and you don't know what is wrong. And you can't, and it just doesn't stop and you feel like you have no control over everything, and it's really kind of scary. Anyways, when I was diagnosed with Meniere's disease, it was around Christmas time, and I remember this because I was on a low-salt diet, and I was trying to watch everything I was eating and doing and being very careful. And it was the first holiday season I actually lost weight because of that. And I was just so scared, but I was determined to make it better. Anyways, I'm going to stop now, and I'm sorry if you're going through any of this. It's horrible. It really is. It is. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that this is helpful. I know it's not as I'm sitting here crying. But here's the thing. I'm better. I'm okay. I'm okay. So don't doomsday yourself. Okay? I will try to put together the next video as soon as I can. I have to work the next couple days, so as soon as I have some free time, I'll put it together and maybe go over the tests and things that I had to go through to get diagnosed, and let you know about those. I'll try to get my medical paperwork together so it's a little bit more organized. I know that there's not very many people watching these videos yet, but they're out here in case you need them. And if you do need or have questions, please just post it in the comments, and I will try to answer them. I try to check to see if anybody has any questions about anything that I posted on here. Thank you guys, and love you. Bye.